A Johnson 99? What the? Electric drive. An electric Johnson, you're gonna make everybody have a heart attack.
You've got to turn it on and off. And if you leave it powered on, it will actually burn up the control board in it just because it's sitting there looking for a signal all the time.
Right.
So
really?
That happened to you and you had to call warranty claim in or something?
No, it's actually still under a class action lawsuit, and there's supposed to be a fix coming for it.
What?
So
wow.
They say don't use the spot lock. It works fine if there's a decent.
They say don't use a spot lock?
Yeah.
What?
It works right. It works fine if there's a decent.
That's terrible.
breeze.
Right. That's the whole reason you buy it.
That's.
But I can't.
You guys, you ever want an electric steer? There is the other steer, and there's the control. That's
The controls up there. The controls.
oh,
up there.
you control on all the way up the top, huh?
Yeah, it's got 16 foot of steer.
There it is.
That's the controller.
I see it.
Everybody agrees.
This looks like a gas outboard, but really,
Yes,
it is not.
The remote itself.
Hey, can we lift this up?
Yeah.
The motor? I mean, the cow?
You want to see what he wants to see what's under the deck.
Yeah, you want to see that.
That's secret.
If you don't want to show nobody for the world, then don't show nobody. But like the whole world will see it right now. What you got?
No, I'm gonna steal. So.
Yeah. So there's a gas tank under there.
So there is not. That does not look like a 3-cylinder motor.
But it does look like a three-phase.
Where is the piston heads?
Does that surprise you in any way?
Tohatsu 40 horsepower.
That is.
Three-cylinder.
That is
2.5 inch bore.
not what I expected it to be. That is a Frankenstein.
It does look like a Frankenstein.
Like somebody put a spoon engine in a Corvette. Truth be told, though, this thing is pretty powerful. What's this equal to?
Gas at 35.
35 horse gas outboard equivalent. Actually seen. So it pushes this boat here about 20. Gets about 20 mile an hour. 20 mile an hour electric outboard. What's the, you got max runtime? That's legit. What are these? Is that where the water inlet cools?
Yeah.
So I got two pee holes. I got one right here, and then my other one.
Well, that's smart. I always thought one pee hole was not enough.
Well, it's because the brains are in the boat. Right? That blew my mind that the freaking
My other
brains are
one's
inside.
right here. So one cools the brain, and
Oh, okay.
one cools the motor.
Smart.
The brain's in the box.
Is that why Troy's... Never mind. I'm sorry.
See, Elko's got the brain and everything packed in here.
Yeah.
And
And mine's turned to 375. Daniel, what's yours, 225 or 220?
Hey,
Motor's turned up.
I'm sorry I didn't say anything. Mark, excuse me. The majority of bodies of water in the U.S. will not tolerate a gas-powered bass boat. For every one lake that does, there are 10 that will not, that will only tolerate electric-only presence. So it's bittersweet. Have fewer bodies of water to fish just to go fast, or take it a little slower and fish anything you want. And every year we come down, the climate is ever changing. Boats are becoming faster and faster. They're getting on plane. You're able to put patterns together and move across the lake in ways you were not. And the race is now only slated to get tougher. championships this year look much different from the last. There are fewer and fewer trolling motor setups and more electric outboard setups. It is likely because the electric outboards, despite what everybody says, are specifically geared to propel, and so they will get you that extra amount of speed. And there are still people in here with trolling motor setups, even dual trolling motor setups, serious 36-volt twin setups, and they still can't match the speed of one outboard. It does change things dramatically, in that those things are meant to troll, not propel. And now that the field is lopsided into 3 parts, boats that can plane, boats that go fairly fast, and then boats that still troll around, the strategies between each have to vary substantially. You have to choose between one spot, or if you're fast enough, you can create patterns. You can go back and forth across the lake when nobody else can. But regardless of what's powering your boat, these are the best 4 teams from each club. Several clubs that compete all year very aggressively against each other for a chance at the top to win it all. And the payout is substantial. Epropulsion comes back again to give their Navy 6.0 Evo. It puts out the rating equivalent equal to a 9.9 horsepower gas outboard, but it does it completely quiet. You cannot hear the motor at all. All you can hear are the waves splashing against your boat, but you can match the speed of everybody else within its competitive range. The trend has finally caught on because more and more outboards this year are being seen with Navy 6.0s, where last year it was completely dominated by Elco. On top of that, Epropulsion is matching their motor with an E175 battery, their most advanced battery, that is strong enough to power a house for days. And you can't help but wonder, out of 20 boats, who will take a prize equivalent to $20,000. But as the tourney ends and the weigh-in time begins, they all start to come in, and now we will see. It appears at first take that many had a good day on the water, with ideal conditions, a storefront coming in, bringing clouds and water clarity distortion with the wind and dropping in the barometer. A lot of good bags came in. The majority of the fish were spotted bass, the dominant species in the lake, with smallmouth and largemouth still being caught, but few and far in between. But the largemouth, the biggest out of the 3 species, was the kicker. Anybody who could pull in a big largemouth had a really good chance of winning, as long as the rest of their spread of spots were still there. As the board fills up with numbers, a new leader comes into place with almost 19 pounds. Chris Gayton and his partner show up with a bag of very big spots and 1 big largemouth. But they're not the only ones weighing in big bags.
Alright guys, weighing in is the man himself, Merrick McClure. Good night. Trying to break Chris Gayton's heart. 16.98, very, very close. Good.
Merrick and his partner weigh in staggeringly close to the leaderboard and are currently holding firm in second, but there are other hard hitters out there waiting to weigh in.
Blake Yarder and Jay Yarder, 16.27.
The Yarders, one of many father-son teams here, compete and almost make it to the top. Everyone in the top 4 were just inches away from each other. The champion stands to win almost $20,000 worth of electric outboards and lithium batteries. When you fish electric-only reservoirs, which are prominent in this whole region, not just in Georgia, but in all the neighboring states, having the technological edge for this type of competition to truly incorporate it into your strategy to win is a must. Electric outboards are becoming the norm over trolling motors.
How long can I arm it?
Long arm that fish.
There you go.
And the winner is, first place with 18.71, your man. I'm sorry, he wants me to do this for some videos. Alright guys, your winner of the TEC is Chris Gayton and Aaron Cole with 18.71.
Yeah.
Big fish is going to Tanner Carson and Josh Thompson.
Hey gentlemen, how's it going?
Good.
You guys killed it out there. We saw you out there doing it. We saw you catch a fish right in front of us, and you couldn't even call it because your bag was so big. We knew you were dangerous then. I know you don't want to give away your whole strategy, but since you won it, it doesn't really matter. What did you do? How did you win it? Yeah.
Covering water, fishing a lot of really ditch fishing, really every way. But a majority of our fish come on contact. Just a single contact, plant head.
Well, how do you guys feel about being the 2023 TVC winners?
Yeah, I'm excited.
What are you gonna do with those motors? You can make that triple?
Like a triple maybe?
What you're talking about?
I'll probably just replace mine with a new one. I want to thank Epropulsion. This is 2 years in a row. Awesome prizes. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. You guys are awesome.
Thanks for tuning in. It's nice to be back in Georgia and to watch things progress how they have. Huge shout out to Epropulsion for making this possible, for making the payout so substantial. A huge thank you to the exceptional leadership in Georgia for making this whole thing how it is. Because other regions, other neighboring states all do this same thing, but I'm not sure the leadership is there or that it just hasn't shown face yet. But eventually, we would like to throw an electric-only classic through TV Nation, where it's not just the best fishermen from each club, it's the best fishermen from each state. They come to compete on one major lake in an electric-only tourney. That's where it's progressing, and that's what we're shooting for. This is only the beginning. Stay tuned.